In today's episode of Out the East, we will be highlighting the 1985-1986 Boston Celtics, one of the greatest teams of all time, and unfortunately, one of those teams that MJ just couldn't overcome. Let's talk about it.
Money's gotta be the shoes.
What's up, hoop heads? It's your boy Skinny Hardaway, and this is Retro Heat Check. Checking in one more time for the real hoop heads out there. And as always, thank you all for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, your comments, and of course your questions. Man, last night YouTube, boy, they pulled the ultimate hater move on your boy. I had some questions for Q&A last night, and I never got the notification, so I was thinking this whole time that y'all was not messing with Q&A. I totally apologize for that. Man, I guess I'm just going to have to just start checking everything now, because usually I get the notification that you got a comment, you got a new subscriber or whatever. They usually play me on the new subscribers. They let me know that I got a subscriber, but they would be late as heck actually giving me a name. And this was the latest. This one right here sucked, because you guys know Q&A Wednesdays are my favorite. It's one of my favorite days out of the week. So I was very disappointed that happened last night. And I know that you guys are disappointed as well, because I know you guys look forward to Q&A just as well as I do. So definitely apologize. Keep emptying out those clips. Let me tell you guys something real quick alongside with Q&A. I don't care how many times you give me a suggestion. If you have a question or a subject matter, a debate subject, or you want to talk sneak, I don't care. As long as we're interacting and growing the channel, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So don't ever feel bad or feel like you're hogging up whatever. Like I tell you guys every week, eventually I will get to your questions, your subject matters, and all that. So don't ever feel afraid, or don't ever feel like you're doing too much. No. You can never do too much here in the Hoop Head Haven. Never. There's no such thing as too much, unless you're a fanboy. Then your very existence is doing too much. But for real though, if you have any questions, if you got any comments, if you got any subject matter, anything that you want to bring out, any ideas, whatever, keep them coming. Empty out those clips every single time. I better not see any bullets in the chambers when y'all come into the Hoop Head Haven. Empty out those clips, man. You already know what it is, man. Empty out them clips. But anyways, let's get on down to it, man. That's all out the way. As you guys know, there is a sneaker giveaway for all of the fanboys. I'm not kidding. I will give a pair of LeBron James, brand new, basically, LeBron 13s. I probably only wore those things probably like twice, maybe 3 times. And they've been sitting for years, so they're damn near dead stock. Like I said, if you're a fanboy, I need a 1,000-word essay, and if it's convincing enough, you will be the winner, and the sneakers will be yours. All you got to do is just put your essay in the video where the thumbnail is of my little homie, Young Coda, the young soldier. My young dog. You already know what it is, the pup. Yeah, if you see that video with the giveaway video, that's where those essays belong. And I'm telling you, 1,000 words, try to convince me, and the sneakers are yours. No science behind it. But yeah, definitely that contest is real. It's a real deal thing. Spread the word. You already know, man. Spread the word, man. Bring the little fanboys in here. You already know, man. I want to see you guys what you guys really have to say about the king. You already know what it is, man. Speaking of kings, man, let me give a shout out to the squad, man. My guys, man. These are the guys that roll with me. I roll with them. We support one another. We all come from all different walks of life. Some of us are more on the educational side. Some of us more on the entertainment side. But for the majority of us, we're somewhere in the middle. So big shout outs to my guys, man. Big shout outs to my guy. Got to start off with the inspiration to this channel. My main man, my guy, Sports and Fitness Rants. Big shout outs to you. Uncommon Sense, Scap Attack, Too Raw for Sports TV, Angry O Hoops, Uncut Hoops, my twin, Phenomenal Fitness. What up, bro? You already know what it is. We got Geechee Life Sports Talk, Man Down Sports. We got Print Sports. We got Ticket TV. We got excuse me. We got Kobe Bryant Film Room. Oh man, big shout outs to you, bro. Shout outs always to Shuckle Storm NBA, The Real Mind Crime, the Allen Knicks TV, NBA Fat Self Research. Big shout outs to you. Hoop God, shout outs to you, my guy. Michael Jordan fans are the best. NNB Sports TV. Big shout outs to you guys, man. Oh man, am I forgetting anyone? I don't think I am. I think I got everybody. Yep, pretty much got everybody that needed to be shouted out, man. Big shout outs to my guys, man. Big shout outs. Support these guys. If you guys are not hip to these guys, please follow them. Follow them, man. That's check them out, give them a chance, man. That's all that I ask, man. These guys support me and I support them. And I hope that you do the same. So big shout outs to the squad. You already know. Now let's get down to business. Let's get down to it, man. We are continuing on episode 2 of Out the East. Now, Out the East is basically chronicling Michael Jordan's journey through the playoffs, which forged him and led him to becoming the GOAT. He had to go through some trials and tribulations, and you don't go through your trials and tribulations through the regular season. You go through that through the playoffs. That's where it gets real. In today's team, we're highlighting, simply put, one of the greatest teams in NBA history, period. And Michael Jordan had to face these guys first round. And that, my friends, is in 1985, 1986, Boston Celtics, man. One of the greatest teams of all time. You already know what it is, man. Man, I mean, they 67 and 15 regular season, 37 and 1 NBA record for home record, 37 and 1, 3-0. That was 37 and 1 at the Boston Gardens. But in that same season, they did play in the Hartford Civic Center. Played 3 games. They were 3-0 there. So, I mean, basically, you weren't beating Boston at home. Period. They were 27-14 on the road, and within the division, they were 18-6. They finished first in the Atlantic Division. They won the Eastern Conference, and they eventually went on to win the NBA championship. Key players, you already know, the incomparable Larry Bird, Larry Legend. You already know what it is, man. That year, 1985, 1986, your boy Larry Bird did his thing, averaging 25.8 points per game, 9 boards, 8 assists in the playoff throughout his playoff and finals run. Simply put, that year he racked up AP Athlete of the Year, NBA MVP, Finals MVP. He was an All-Star, All NBA First Team. He was the 3-point shootout champ, and he led the league in 3-point percentage. Simply put, Larry Bird, the greatest small forward to ever touch a basketball. Larry Bird, So cold, so cold, so cold. And beside him, you had Kevin McHale, aka the Torture Chamber, aka Mr. Minnesota. Until Tim Duncan came onto the scene, the greatest power forward that the NBA had seen. The man of a million moves. I mean, there are so many superlatives about this guy, man. It was just mind-boggling. I mean, this man averaged 24. This man averaged 24.9 points per game, eight boards, 2 assists. He was an all-star, and he was all NBA first team defense. Like I said, simply put, the second greatest power forward in NBA history. Kevin McHale, the Torture Chamber, the man of a million moves, Mr. Minnesota. And rounding out the key players is Robert Parrish, man. Robert Parrish, the big man, the chief holding it down in the paint, the center, one of the best defensive centers in NBA history. And throughout this run, Robert averaged 15 points a game, 8 boards, and almost 2 blocks a game as a member of the Boston Celtics in 1985, 1986. I mean, this guy right here, definitely a monster. Oh my goodness. I'm moving ahead. I'm just moving and dipping and doing what I'm doing. I totally forgot to open up them doors. I definitely forgot to welcome on in the latest member of the Hoophead Haven. Now I'm not used to this. I haven't been used to this, man, because YouTube has been playing with your boy. But your boy remembered. Definitely got to give a huge shout out. You already know what it is about the Hoophead Haven, man. Let me just rewind it for a bit, man. Got to give a shout out to the Hoophead Haven. You already know what it is within the Hoophead Haven. You already know what it is, man. International group of like-minded basketball fans who have a love and respect for the old school, in particular the 90s. And like I always say, man, you only have one rule in this group within the Hoophead Haven, and that's if you see a fanboy and they talking wild, they talking reckless, check them. You get my full permission to check them. You can run wild, do whatever, as long as it's within the YouTube guidelines. You already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. We gotta have some decorum. You feel me? Gotta have some decorum. But we gotta welcome in the latest member of the Hoophead Haven. Let's give it up for Jay Gore. Yo, Jay, welcome to the Hoophead Haven. I hope that you enjoy your stay within the walls of the Hoophead Haven. Hey man, like I said, we talk sports, sneakers, debates, Q&A. I mean, we have all kinds of stuff, man. Top 10s, top 5s. It doesn't even matter, man. We just talk hoop, man. We talk. We have a great time. We interact with one another. It's a great time. So I hope that you enjoy yourself. Like I said, if you see a little fanboy, put them in check. You already know what it is, man. We're gonna have fun in here. I hope that you enjoy your stay here within the walls of the Hoophead Haven. Welcome, Jay. Welcome. Now back to what I was saying. Like I was saying, Robert Parrish, one of the greatest defensive centers of all time, one of the great centers of the 80s. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, simply put, man, it's the Chief, bro. It's the Chief. And incidentally, became one of Michael Jordan's future teammates. So big shout out to the Chief. You already know. Key role players on this team. You had Dennis Johnson, the point guard, that feisty, defensive-minded point guard. I mean, this dude was a killer. All NBA defense, second team that year. Killer. Bill Walton. I mean, this guy, basically, he was on his way out the league. He had just got cut by the Los Angeles Clippers. The Lakers was interested in him, but they wanted him to pass all kinds of physicals and stuff like that. But all it took with Bill Walton was just a conversation between him and Casey Jones. They had a heart-to-heart. Casey was like, if you're going to be on this team, I'm going to need you all the way. Bill Walton gave his word, and Bill Walton actually in 1985, 1986 played 80 games, his career high. So definitely Bill Walton did his thing. The late great Bill Walton, may he rest in peace. He was a six man coming straight off the bench, and that dude was a monster. He definitely made a comeback that year. So much respect. And also, last but not least, of the key role players, Danny Ainge. Did not like him. I hated him. I hated him his whole career. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But Danny Ainge that year, he actually was second in free throw percentage. He was third in 3-point percentage, and he made a then record 148 3-pointers in one year. That in the same year, 1985, 1986. Danny Ainge was also a key player off the bench. All right. Now, about the Boston Celtics, 1985-1986, considered by many as one of the greatest teams of all time. The 1985-1986 Celtics swept the outmanned and overmatched Bulls, led by a second-year fresh off of a foot injury, MJ 3-0, despite Jordan's Herculean efforts, including the NBA playoffs record-setting 63 points that he dropped in the Garden, putting Bird, company, the city of Boston, and the NBA community as a whole on notice. With deadly shooting, suffocating defense, grit, guile, and smarts, the Celtics crushed the East, then went on to beat a young Hakeem Olajuwon in the Houston Rockets 4-2 to capture title number 16 for the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, man, simply put, the lessons that they gave Michael Jordan that helped forge him into becoming the greatest. With Milwaukee, basically, the lessons that Milwaukee gave to Mike was that you're watching a cohesive, good team. You're watching a good team that is balanced, and basically all that high flying and all that stuff came to an end, because when it comes to the playoffs, it gets serious. Well, with the Celtics, especially the 85-86, it was ratcheted up to another level, and Michael Jordan had to learn an even harsher lesson. He basically learned what an official, real deal championship level squad looks like. He saw it up close and personal, and it did not matter what he done on that court. It didn't matter if he dropped 47. Didn't matter if he dropped 47 game one. He had 63 game two. You know what I'm saying? And he had another 40. I think he had like four. I want to say like 44, 45. The last game. I mean, the man averaged 40 plus that whole series. But it wasn't enough, man. The boys got swept. In that 63-point masterpiece, Michael Jordan lost in overtime. Despite all that, you know, this is a squad, man, that simply put, they knew all the tricks of the trade. These guys were, simply put, a machine, led by Larry Bird, who was at the height of his powers, man. You had Kevin McHale. I mean, they were just too much. Robert Parrish. You had Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge. You had Cornbread Maxwell. You had, I mean, there were so many dudes coming. I mean, they came at you in waves. They went about 10. They went about 9, 10 deep if they really wanted to. But they had a rotation of about eight regular guys. But this was a team that could go a little bit deeper, and basically the lesson that they gave to Michael Jordan was, you know, you don't know what a real team is. You don't know what a real team is until you see a squad like the Celtics, and seeing them up close in an NBA playoffs setting. I mean, the Boston Celtics, they spared nothing when it came to the Bulls. Yes, they were in awe of Michael Jordan. Larry Bird even said that Michael Jordan was God disguised as Michael Jordan. That's how much they respected Michael Jordan. But at the same time, he didn't have the teammates to go up against Boston. I mean, they were definitely outmanned and outmatched. I mean, his best teammates was what? Charles Oakley, You know what I'm saying? Charles Oakley, Dave Corzine. I mean, there wasn't really much of a selection. Odin Polonese, not Odin Pol, yeah, Odin Polonese. I mean, there just really wasn't a whole lot that Jordan could depend on. It was just basically him versus the Celtics, and unfortunately for him, he learned once again, just like he learned with the Bucks, can't do it alone. All that high flying and stuff, and all the points that you scored, it's great and all, but everybody else was a non-factor. And that's exactly how the Bulls got out of there. It was like Michael Jordan did everything that he could. Like I said, Herculean efforts. But those Celtics, man, they were just way, way, way too much for Michael Jordan. They were just way too much. And this is a team that, they were damn near, they were basically unbeatable at home. I mean, one loss at home the whole year. That is insane. And for Michael Jordan to do what he did, the 63 in the Boston Garden, was just, it was awe-inspiring despite the loss. But these were the lessons that Michael Jordan had to learn. He had to be forged going up against teams like the Boston Celtics. That was the only way that he was going to really learn how to persevere through the adversity of having a shorthanded team where basically the talent level was far below what was in the playoffs, because literally the Bulls were the eighth seed and they were the worst team by far in the whole playoffs, both East and West. They were the worst team, period. This is a team that was pretty much out the playoffs until Michael Jordan got back with 16 games left and basically drug these guys into the eighth seed. Because a lot of teams, they didn't want to see Boston. A lot of teams didn't want to see Boston at that time. Boston was smacking everything. They learned a harsh lesson from the year before when they played the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals and lost. They were exposed because they didn't have the bench. But they fortified that and became one of the greatest teams of all time. From the top to the bottom, this was a well-oiled machine. And Michael Jordan just simply, despite all his individual talents, you will always lose up against a team, a true team, a true squad. Shoot, they was a program pretty much. They were beyond a franchise. They were a program, and the Boston Celtics way was definitely the winning way, and these guys won a lot, especially 1985, 1986. Like I said, many consider the greatest. A lot of people consider them the greatest team of all time. Me personally, I got them number 2, right behind the 95, 96 Chicago Bulls. Simply put, 72-10. You can't go against that. 72-10 with two losses in the playoffs total. What can you say? So, but that's not to take no shine away from the 85-86 Celtics, because before the Bulls came along, they were the gold standard of the NBA. And one of the greatest teams of all time had their episode with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he did his thing individually, but team-wise, the Boston Celtics had to show Michael exactly what a team looks like, all the way into the NBA Finals, in which they had to give another young player from the class of 1984, Hakeem Olajuwon, that same harsh lesson. But man, there was something about those Celtics teams, man, that just, I don't know, man. They're very inspiring. They were a very inspiring squad. I'm not the biggest Celtics fan, but I must give props to that team. They played really well together. They were cohesive, offense, defense. It did not matter if Larry was leading the way, McHale was leading the way, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge. Bill Walton sacrifices his body, you had Quinn Buckner, you had Cornbread Maxwell. You had a lot of guys, man. You had a lot of guys that definitely represented the green and white, definitely represented the Celtics franchise. and they went on to win number 16. At that time, was the record for NBA championships. I mean, simply put, they were just too great for Michael. And that's the lesson that you will always learn. Great teams trump great players every time, and that's a lesson that Michael Jordan definitely had to learn the hard way. That being said, man, it's your boy Skinny Hardaway. You already know what it is, man. It's Thursday evening. Football, NFL football. If you're an NFL fan, kickoff is tonight. You already know what it is, man. Ravens versus Chiefs. Definitely excited to see a great matchup. Man, I hope you guys have a good evening, great evening. I hope you guys love on your loved ones, love on them babies. You know, tomorrow is definitely not promised. You know, basically, I just want you guys to be responsible, be respectful, do the right thing. Don't be dumb out here. You know what I'm saying? Clear head and good intentions in your heart, and you out of here, man. You go far. You go far. Be sure that you guys are out here being a helping hand. Be a blessing, not a burden. You know, if you can help out, if you can be a helping hand, be a helping hand. You know, people are out here hurting. People are out here going through things. I know you're probably going through things, and sometimes you may want somebody to have your back. So be there for that. Be there for others. You know, same way you would want somebody to be there for yourself. So, with that being said, it's your boy Skinny Hardaway, and this is Retro Heat Check, checking in one more time, man. And this is man, I done said the wrong thing. I'm about to start over. This is Skinny Hardaway, and this is another episode of Retro Heat Check in the books. I'm so discombobulated, man. YouTube, you messed me up, man. You messed up my whole flow for the week, man. Taking away Q&A from me, man, like that by hiding my notifications, man. Suckers, man. But needless to say, we're not gonna piss and moan about that for too long. But you already know what it is, man. It's your boy Skinny Hardaway. It's another episode of Retro Heat Check in the books. And I'll leave you with these words. Peace. And wear your sneakers.